A very good evening on behalf of India FinTech Forum. I am Aditya Raj Kothari and I have Mr. Mandar Agashe, founder and vice chairman of Sarvatra Technologies, who has joined me to discuss about banking technologies and his entrepreneurial journey. He has more than 20 years of experience of starting and running a SEA-based payment technology platform company. A very warm welcome to FinTech Leadership Series.
Hello.
Coming to my first question, it has been more than 2 decades since you founded Sarvatra Technologies. You have a vast number of products and services that make financial transactions easier. Recently, you have been awarded as the best tech for the year of 2019 by the Internet and Mobile Association of India for the Sarvatra EFT switch. What has led to this success? What keeps you driving for more and more innovations?
When I started Sarvatra 20 years ago, our goal was to digitize India. So when we went on that path, the goal was to go after the semi-urban and rural banks and to see how we can bring them onto some computer platform. That was a very basic goal. And what we realized that though most of the banks had customers and had the necessary like branch banking tools. The customers were limited only to the branch. They could not even go to the rest of the branches of that same bank. And payments and what we see today was completely alien to most of them. Even the basic debit cards were not there. So what we thought that we could do a big service to the rural and semi-urban economy if we are able to help those customers of these banks, which we call them the underbanked, to really have the same services available to a customer of an HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. So we defined financial inclusion as making empowering the customer. And while doing that, we realized that there were so many impediments to do that, and we created a very robust technology, and that helped us to go from semi-urban to urban and to the finest banks in the country using our product only because we built it for a very difficult terrain where there was no internet connectivity, there was no electricity, the customers were not educated, every state support was difficult. The entire solution had to be hosted and on a private cloud. So what all first we did, like here now everyone talks about cloud and everything. Uh, about 12 years back, we did everything on cloud, not knowing that that's the in thing. But we had to do because that was the only way to make it happen. And our clear goal was to digitize India, and we are still on the same path. And that's why we got the recognition from IMAI, and also we won the award from Economic Times as the most innovative company the same year.
That's really quite insightful. UPI is an instant real-time payment system developed by the NPCI facilitating interbank peer-to-peer and person-to-merchant transactions. According to the data released by the NPCI for 2021, UPI recorded around 40 billion transactions worth $960 billion, making it the best performing real-time payment system in the world. NPCI has signed a memorandum of understanding with the TerraPay for international remittance. Given the frauds in UPI payments in India, what are your views on the inspection plans for UPI?
So when NPCI got started, they did some very rapid innovations, and besides helping us with taking these debit cards to many semi-urban banks, they came out with the first modern product, which was IMPS, which was the first instant money transfer product, and it was between bank accounts. And then they quickly developed a real world-class breakthrough product in UPI, where you can transfer money from any account to any account, P2P from person to person using just a VPA. And it also introduced a very unique model where a non-bank entity like a GPay or PhonePay banking with some other third bank could also help two people having accounts in two different banks to transact with each other. Otherwise, until then, it was only your bank app to another bank app that you could do it. And this innovation was also supported by our Indian basic, what you can say, character is that we prefer security, even if we have to compromise little bit of friction. So there, UPI, though it is so advanced platform in terms of its software architecture, still it is a two-factor system. So UPI is very unique that for every transaction you have to enter UPI PIN. So virtually the frauds are not there in this system. Whatever frauds are being seen are mainly customer negligence. There's no fraud in the design as such. If someone asks you to pay money and also asks you for your PIN, then only frauds happen. Otherwise, it is not possible to break into UPI. And that's why I think globally the recognition is coming and people want to type with UPI. So because it's a very low fraud system by design itself. And that's true for most of the payment systems in India, which are all two-factor or three-factor. So that is a uniqueness of India. That though there is a huge friction of having to enter PIN and then the OTP comes, so many things. But we take it for granted that you have to do it, and yet the growth is so phenomenal. So I
Indeed.
think we have Indians have shown to the world what how to build the best payment system.
We have shown our real power. What changes have you observed post-COVID in financial transactions in India?
Before COVID, it was mainly your cards which were used, and UPI had started becoming popular. One system which was developed for those who don't have a card was Aadhar enabled payment system, which was still not used very high in a very big way. What happened when the urban people, especially the labor contractors and the laborers, when they had to leave the cities and go to their villages during COVID lockdown, they found themselves in a village where there were no ATMs. So they had to use the micro ATMs in the BC network, and they started using this Aadhar enabled payment system where you can just, if your bank account is linked to an Aadhar, your Aadhar, then you can go to any BC, give your Aadhar number and your account show up, and you enter your PIN or OTP, and you can withdraw cash. And during COVID times, I saw huge usage of such unique products like AEPS and UPI. So not only NPCI has innovated for the urban India and the youngsters with UPI and mobile, they also innovated the entire rural payments with AEPS. And today AEPS is growing as fast as UPI, and that's what I saw, that people adopted to digital in this COVID times in a very big way. And they just realized the whole convenience, and they have not stopped using those after the lockdown has lifted. People have stopped using the mask, but they cannot live without the UPI.
Okay. Cloud computing is the upcoming latest tech in the industry. How is cloud computing helping cooperative banks in India?
So, cooperative banks or any small finance banks, or to now even large banks, cloud computing is becoming popular across all sectors, not just the cooperative banks. Cooperative banks, in fact, were the first one to adopt, but now it's the large banks who are going to cloud. The reason for this is that it's a scalable architecture, it is secure, and it is low cost. So you pay as you use. That's the most important thing. And you don't need very high-end IT people to manage your own data center. So if you want to start small and scale anything, cloud works are best. And that's what cloud computing is all about. But when it comes to payments, you need a PCI DSS compliant cloud. And that was not there in India for a long time. So when Sarvatra started, we had to build our own private cloud on which we have hosted more than 600 banks in the country. and 600 credit unions. So almost 1,200 institutions use our private cloud today. But now there are private clouds available from top companies like Oracle, and Oracle Cloud and similar clouds you'll see becoming popular as the days go by.
It's great. What are your plans to provide more feasible and easier banking solutions for rural and semi-urban banking customers?
So the what we want to do is now bring even the payments to the non-smartphone users. So UPI has come out with a very unique solution where you can have IVR-based UPI. So that is what is going to be big. Then now there are many credit societies, credit unions who are not part of the payment ecosystem. So that's where RBI and NPCI is innovated in terms of prepaid card usage. And that's where companies like us will be taking prepaid card platforms to these small financial institutions to help them come onto the UPI platform.
Okay. Since the start, you have the first mover advantage in the industry. You were the first one to invest in all the current sectors. How do you look at your competitors in this matter?
There is healthy competition, not only from international companies, but very good Indian companies. We have integrated with close to 70 core banking systems. So every state and every what you can say small group of banks today are using a homegrown core banking system, and you will see that there are many startups who are also coming out with really amazing fintech products. So I think the competition is very good, and that keeps us young. So we were the first ones to go from rural to urban, and being 20-year-old, we are probably the oldest startup. But all these new startups is what helps us remain competitive and young.
Okay. You have tied up with more than 500 plus banks in India, activated 2,500 plus ATMs in rural India, and achieved 60,000 plus customers until now. What does your growth strategy looks like for the upcoming years? Are there any global expansion plans?
So first, let me correct that is not 60,000 customers, but 60 lakh customers. So more than 60 lakh customers use our debit card, and more than 50 lakhs farmers use our plastic based Kisan credit card. So Kisan credit card used to be just a passbook. Now they are able to use modern technologies. So it's in lakhs and not thousands. And of course, your other numbers are right. We have more than 500, 600 banks. We have more than 3,000 ATMs and 10,000 micro ATMs that we drive for various banks. And we also give white labeled mobile apps to these banks so they can use it for their customers. So with the entire, what you can say, starting off with this rural and then going up to urban. So if you see ICICI Bank, IDBI Bank, all these banks use our platform. Most of the small finance banks, which themselves are very modern, like Equitas Bank and Capital Bank, use our platform. So we got different experiences working with different kind of banks. Then recently we started tying up and giving platforms to fintechs. So we have first type we did was a app within app with Fiserv, which is one of the largest payment platforms in the world. And we are with Ola, we are with
Yeah.
Pine Labs, and the latest being our UPI platform is now what drives Tata New, which is their super app. So all these experiences will now help us to go global, and that's what we are preparing to create. How we can go global. We are checking the technologies available globally, but India is so advanced and so modern that we're finding it very difficult to really go global, who are still two steps behind India. So it's a very unique position to be. Always it used to be opposite. I am a
Yeah,
software engineer from PICT. Our only goal was to look up what's latest in the US, what's latest in Silicon Valley. And now they look and come to us and say, what's latest in India?
that's
So
really a
that's
proud
really
moment.
amazing place. Means I don't know whether we'll go there or they'll come here seeking our help.
Uh, okay. You have hit many successes in your entrepreneurial journey and gained a lot of experience. What suggestion would you like to give to the upcoming entrepreneurs in your industry?
I would like to tell the young entrepreneurs, first believe in yourself. Try to be a product company. If you have to do services, still try to see what product can you give, and um, just don't go for valuations. Go for cash flows also, because unless you have a paying customer, you won't really survive in the long term. These 20 years we have survived through various ups and downs, and we of course raised a lot of capital. But most important is we always try to be cash flow positive, and we try to go for revenues. So look for revenues and not just valuation. Look for coming into the market with a quick product instead of trying to make it too complex. So just go for a simple product and try it out with few customers, and have a very strong feedback mechanism, and be open to admitting failures.
Okay. I thank Mr. Mandar Agashe, founder and vice chairman of Sarvatra Technologies, for sharing his valuable insights on banking technology and his entrepreneurial journey. Thank you, sir, for this wonderful interview. Have a great week ahead.
Thank you.